Good morning, everyone. Bobby McShane with the DelRose McShane Real Estate Team here today with my partner, Mike DelRose Jr.
How's it going, everyone?
We got a good topic today, talking about the market a little bit. Here we are at the end of August, and I would say for the most part, the summer was pretty slow in June and July, but the last couple weeks in particular, a lot of activity,
Yeah,
more so
you've
than
been
I've seen all
busy.
summer.
I've
Yeah.
been busy. It just kind of bodes well for what we're going to see in the fall. Pumpkin season, as I like to call it.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully after Labor Day, everything carries over into that, but definitely encouraging based on the last couple weeks. So cool.
Better not interfere with my football on Sundays. That's
I'm
all
gonna
I'll
say,
say
yeah,
right now.
can't wait.
I'm not working. Everyone, I'm not working on Sundays. It's telling you right now.
Fantasy draft this weekend. I can't wait. So we're back at it. But topic today is the cost of waiting to buy. I think many people might hear, whether it's now or just historically at different times in the media, news from friends, that now is a bad time to buy. So we kind of wanted to delve into that a little bit today, and discuss that a little bit further. So,
Yeah,
um,
good. Yeah, so what I always say, you'll hear me say this in blog articles or in video, you only know the market you're currently in. With data lagging 60 to 90 days, it's hard enough to see where things stand, and you almost have to be out in the field and get surprised by a lack of offers on a property or, being able to put something under agreement faster than you thought to understand that there's going to be specific shifts. If there's world events, wars, economic issues, those tend to lag behind what we see as far as market activity.
right,
So there is a cost, a financial cost, and it varies, but it might be better or worse depending on what you're trying to accomplish. So back in February, we had the lowest rates in like 3 years. I think it was like the national average was 6.01% and sometime in the second month of the year. Now we're at 6.75. Our lenders can beat those rates, by the way, but that's like we're talking national
right.
average. So that gap of time and that increase for Arlington, Belmont, Waltham, Watertown specifically, that cost just under $80,000 of buying power. Just if you waited and said in the early spring or like early winter, you know what, we want to wait a little bit. Interest rates are high at 6, maybe they come down. Well, you just cost yourself $80,000 in buying power. Now, it could always go the other way. Rates could
Right.
tick down, you could end up saving money. And here's where it gets kind of convoluted because cost of living goes up, appreciation goes up. I think in this market specifically on single families, we saw something like 3 to 4%
Right.
over the last years. That ring
Yep.
a bell? Yeah. So if we're looking at that kind of number, if rates dropped, it may have been a good thing to wait. But you don't know that at the time you're trying to make decisions. So what I always try to tell buyers is if you have a life event, your lease is ending, maybe you're bringing a baby into the world, maybe you're getting engaged or married, and there's a reason for delaying a home sale if you have intent to purchase long term. Like that's well and good. I mean, those are important events that you shouldn't rush in order to buy a house. But what happens is if you're everything else is equal, you're ready to go, and you're just like, hey, the market is kind of high right now. Well, using this example, you've cost yourself $80,000 in buying power. You're making it more difficult for yourself, and now you're chasing the market. You're getting less house for your dollar.
Yeah, timing the market is never ideal because you just don't know the way that things are going to go. So I think to your point, when you're actually ready to do something is the right time.
Yeah, and I think what I tell every one of my clients who's coming out to buy a house, start as early as you can. That doesn't mean you have to make offers, by the way.
Right.
I'm not pushing you to make offers after 2 weeks. That's not realistic. That's not what our job is. Our job is to educate you so you can be empowered to make better financial decisions for yourself. So what does that look like? Well, I want to see you 6 months before we start that process. I want you starting to look at listings. We don't even have to see houses, but talking to a lender if you're getting a loan, maybe going to some open houses together and just kind of learning about what we're going to see. And that difference, that timing really shows up when you're ready to buy because your competition out there might just be getting started. Maybe it's the
Right.
spring market, you're ready to go now, and you have new home buyers out there. You're seeing the same houses, you see them week after week, the same buyers sometimes, which is funny. Um, they're just learning about things typically. You have a real competitive advantage if you can make really quick decisions on and big decisions at the same time.
Yep. Absolutely. I think, time of the year too is obviously important also. Again, things change and you can't predict the future, but historically, like the summer months, they do slow down typically, June, July. So I think this past summer there was some great opportunities of things that if they were listed back in May and April, I think they would have probably sold right away, and
Yeah,
they tend to linger a little bit. So again, you really can't predict the future, but sometimes when you see headlines that it's not a good time to buy or things are slower, that it may be a great time to buy, depending again on the town, the price point, the specific property.
I actually really enjoy working with home buyers over the summer. Why? Because things are so slow. You don't
Right.
have that pressure. And what happened specifically in 2026, we saw a lot of inventory come up in our own home market of Belmont that were priced according to like late May, June. They were using those numbers, but the market dropped off and you had this enormous amount of inventory historically. I think there was like 40 single families in Belmont at one time. Is that
Yep.
right? Yeah.
Yep.
40 houses. Now some of these are in higher price points too, like 2 million plus, and those play by a little bit different rules, and those typically take longer to sell anyways. But when you start seeing these average colonials for the town, these 3 bed, 2 bath, 1,600 square feet to 2,000 square feet sitting, like that kind of raises alarm bells a little bit because those are always really hot,
Hmm.
especially in a town like Belmont. So when I get out there with buyers, you don't have this pressure and you can really take your time to learn about the house. And you really just have to wait till one falls in your lap that meets all your demands, your needs.
Right.
So summer is actually a really great time to buy. Now, unfortunately, summer's about over. So
Yeah.
we'll have to wait till next year for that experience. But
I'd say the holidays are the next time where things, November, December, another potential good time to buy with things slow down too,
I
as
did
well.
more business last winter than I think I have my entire career,
Wow.
like
Yeah.
combined. Like December was really busy.
Yeah.
And that had to do with life events and also waiting for the right properties to come around with trade ups, I think was really the difference maker there. Um, so yeah, but you only know the market you're in. Whenever you're ready, you're ready. Start the process a little bit earlier so you can get up to speed real quick. And I think that's my biggest takeaway. And from the topic of the cost of waiting, there are so many other factors we're not talking about right now. Maybe you have a promotion coming, maybe you're waiting for your tax return to show increase in income. Like there's certain things you can't control.
Sure.
So there is a cost to all those things that we don't have that data in front of us. But historically speaking, as house prices continue to rise throughout any given year during an uptick in the market, and rates being, you know, unpredictable at best, well, there is a big potential cost of waiting, and if everything else is equal, you're gambling by making the choice to sit out.
Hmm.
You
Yep.
know, base it on that life event instead.
Yep. We got a number of listings coming on after Labor Day too, so we'll circle back and let you know how activity looks for the start of the fall market.
Excellent. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys.